guys, Brandon Woolum hanging out in the CCM Cafe today with the Grammy Award-winning John Barry. How are you, man?
Good, terrific. Thank you. Good to be with you.
Good. So you just wrapped up a Christmas tour, number 27th annual Christmas tour.
Crazy.
You go back in the John Barry history. Just before that, you have your first number one, and then a Christmas tour starts, and now you're still doing it.
It's crazy. It's been a real blessing, and to be able to go out and do this tour year after year. And somebody asked me not too long ago in an interview. They said, you know, one of the most things you're most well known for is doing this Christmas tour, and for those who follow me, and he said, is that something you are okay with if that's what your legacy is? I said, to go out and sing songs about Jesus' birth. Let me think. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah. So you've got some new music out now too. Well, a couple years ago, new.
Yeah, coming up 2 years ago, we released "Find My Joy." It was a CD I cut with Steve Dorff, and Steve is a wonderful arranger, producer, writer, and he did a great job on this album and contributed several songs to it. Mainly, it's 6 classic hymns that anyone who grew up going to church will know them, and then 4 new songs of faith, and including the title track "Find My Joy."
Yeah. Now that people have had that in their cars or on their phones for a couple years, what's one you want to make sure they don't really overlook? They go back and give a real deep listen to the song on that project.
Well, there's a new song on there that Steve wrote that is called "Something Bigger Than Me." That is just spectacular. It's a wonderful song, and it sounds huge because it's recorded with the Utah Symphony Orchestra, so it's pretty big, and it's just very dramatic. But it's a wonderful message that we're not walking through this alone. You know.
You've had tons of awards over the years. We're going to add a couple more to you here in just the next couple months. One, I think, next weekend? Next weekend. Carolina Country Music Awards. You're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, they found out I was born in South Carolina, and they said, "Man, we're awfully proud of what you've done, and you're a South Carolina son. We'd like for you to come to Myrtle Beach, and we'd like to present this to you." And it's really a great honor. And not only that, is I get to go to Myrtle Beach, so because I love Myrtle Beach. But it's
if only it could have been in the summer though, where you could put the trunks on and be out there on the beach.
Don't matter. Don't matter, man. If I can walk in the sand and smell some salt air, I'm good.
Yeah. So then a couple months after that, another Hall of Fame induction. You'll be in the North American Country Music Hall of Fame. Randy Travis also going in there this year with you. How cool is that?
Yes,
and how'd you find out about that one?
Well, just my manager called and said, "Hey, we got a little note here.
We got another award.
We got these folks they'd like to put you in the International Hall of Fame," and that's really cool. I'm honored.
Yeah,
it's a real treat.
So over the years, you've had some health battles. One just a few years ago with throat cancer. We all had a crazy 2020. Yours just started a little bit earlier than all of our other
mine
ones.
started January 4th of 2019.
Yeah, and
that's when it all started.
Yeah. When it's depressing and scary anytime anybody gets cancer, but as a singer, you get throat cancer. What kind of extra depression does that add? And did you think that we were going to be here still singing, even if you were alive? Did you think there was going to be these songs still coming out of your throat?
Man, when Dr. Spire, I had not met Dr. Spire before, and he was an ear, nose, and throat specialist. And I walk in to his office. He says, "John Barry, good to see you again." And I'm like, When did I see you the first time? He said, "Actually, you won't remember. But back in 1997, when you had a polyp removed from your vocal cords with Dr. Ossoff at Vanderbilt Voice Clinic," he said, "I was an intern on your surgery."
Wow.
And instantly there's this, okay, I don't have to explain what I do for a living. He understands what I do. And everyone's voice is important, of course, but at least he understands I make a living doing this. And so we talked about what I was experiencing. And he said, "Well, let's take a look." And literally, it was this fast. He said, "Open up, let me take a look." He got his flashlight and went, click.
Uh-oh.
Click. That's throat cancer. And all I could think of was, really? Really? I'm like, I hate to say what's next.
Yeah.
What else?
And little did we know what really was next just around the corner with the 2020 shutdowns.
Oh, yeah.
Even worse for a musician.
Oh, yeah.
More bad news coming.
Yeah, just to be off and not singing and all that stuff, and because you can sit in front of a microphone and have 50,000 people dial in on your internet,
Yeah.
and you can sing to them, and it's not the same. It ain't the same.
Yeah. After all these years, these 20+ albums, these health scares over the years, what keeps you still doing this, still touring, still putting out new music as recent as just a couple years ago?
Well, God's not done with me. He's got something he wants me to do. And one of the coolest things is we played in Macon, Georgia. We play there every Christmas. This past year was our 27th year. And most every year, most every night when I play, I give a testimony and talk about how my mom led me to the Lord when I was a little fella. And part of my testimony is my mom reading the scripture to me. And she read me John 3:16. And she read it to me. She said, look here. It says right here, for God so loves Johnny that he gave his only son, that if Johnny will trust in him, Johnny will have everlasting life. Because that whosoever stuff, and that whole world and all that stuff, but she made it personal, because it's supposed to be. And so when I gave my testimony that night, it struck a chord with this particular individual. And he accepted the Lord that night on the way home. And a year later, he came to the pre-show meet and greet to tell me that it was such an effect on his life. And it's like right then and there, he said, well, okay, that's why I do this. Because one person,
Yeah.
maybe there's more, I don't know. But if it's one person, 27 years of doing it, it's good.
Yeah. There's some more live shows on the books. You'll have the evening with John Barry coming up throughout the year. There's some dates that are kind of spread out, so you go to the website, you can find all those new
Some of
dates.
them are just me and a guitar. Some of them are me and my wife Robin. Our bass player Michael might join us, and in different configurations. Sometimes I'll just go ahead and bring the whole band and we'll just rock the house. And, but you never know what it's going to be till Christmas time. It's always the whole band and sound and lighting crew and video crew and all that.
Are those kind of shows where the set list may change too, based on who you got there and what you're feeling that night?
Yeah, it changes a lot, and people request songs, and my wife hates that. She said, don't ask what they want to hear. They're going to ask songs you haven't played in 20 years, and you're going to try and do them, and you're going to embarrass yourself. And it's true, I do.
And now they're on YouTube probably. People are pulling the phones out when they request those songs. So are you still actively writing and recording new music, or is there going to be more new music, or is
I'm
maybe
sure there will be.
20+ albums enough, the catalog's big enough?
It's a bunch, but I'm sure we'll have something pop up. So you never know.
And you're kind of passing the torch a little to the kids too, although you haven't fully passed it. Kind of the Stephen Curtis Chapman thing, where I see you posting random posts all the time. It's another band. I'm like, who is this band? And then I do a little research. I'm like, oh, that's why he's just posting it out there and getting it out there. So
and my son, he lives in East Texas, and he joined up with 2 other singer-songwriters, and they put a band together called Joint Custody.
Yeah.
And one of their brothers played drums, and they're just 2 electric guitars, bass and drums, and singing the truth. And they're just old classic rock and roll band, basically is what they are. And but they have a lot of fun, and they open for a lot of those Texas acts, and they're having a big time. Then our youngest child, our younger brother, his younger brother, Kalen James, he's a drummer, and he's quite remarkable. He lives here in the Nashville area, and he plays with different people, plays with us, and I'm hoping that he'll get hired on by some, even though I don't want to lose him as a drummer for me, but I also don't want him to grow up and just be daddy's drummer.
Yeah. All right. Well, the album is still out there, Finding My Joy. It's been out a couple of years, but you can still stream it on all the platforms. And of course, the touring going to be happening throughout the year with an evening with John Barry, and then the tour you're known for be starting all back up in November, the 28th annual John Barry Christmas tour.
Come on.